Hello viewers, welcome to this drawing masterclass. In today's lesson, we shall learn how to draw the human figure in standing pose with the hands in different positions. In our last lesson, we learned how to use some very simplified forms of the human figure called stickman. Artists often use stick figures as a foundational step in drawing human figures because those stickmen, they simplify the proportions and the structure of the body, making it easier to understand and to visualize the basic anatomy of the human figure and the movement of the human figure. I want us to draw a person who is doing some activity. Okay, that is the head. Should be very fast. The line of action is there. That is how the body will bend. So then from there we have let's bend the shoulders a bit that way, at that angle. And then let's determine where the hip bone is. The hip bone is along the line of action. Everything is around the line of action. There, that way. Let's draw the rib cage. And then there's the hip bone. Then the kneecap is on position 6. That is the kneecap. And then the foot. We continue. So let's use some kind of perspective. We draw the leg there. Why don't we draw the hands folded? Yeah. That is the one. It's very simple to draw. As long as you follow this, the canon of it guides you in drawing. Yeah, that is the first picture. Let's continue. We first of all draw the line of action. Action will be centered around the line of action. So now, let's draw the head there. That is the head. Then in this picture, the shoulders were bent that way. This time, it has bent the shoulders this way. Then these are the shoulders. We draw the rib cage. And then the center is here. So this is the hip bone. Then the legs are there. The other leg is here. Is the kneecap. Then the hand is stretched that way. We can lift the hand that way. Now we continue. This is the elbow. The other elbow will follow this arc. The hand is swinging in a certain radiating manner. So there is some kind of radius from the joint of the hand to the shoulder bone. So you can draw that arc. That will give you the position of the other elbow. Yeah, this is a person who is swinging his hands. He is lifting his hands. Maybe he is praying. Let us define it a bit. Yeah, this is a person he has lifted his hands. maybe in worship. Now, I want us to think about this picture. After learning how to draw a human figure in standing position in various poses, with the hands positioned differently, what message do you get as you look at this picture? What is God teaching you from this picture? Can you see human figures standing up? A standing person, hands raised up. Which words are getting magnified in your mind? Lifting of hands, clapping, folding hands, stretched hands. God amplified in my mind the words lifting up your hands and giving them to God. You give your hands to God. Your hands are not for doing evil. He wants to use your hands in prayer to bless others as a living sacrifice, to put them together and clap for the Lord, because He is God. He is the King of Kings. I want to go through the scriptures so that we get some nourishment of what God wants us to, how God wants us to use our hands for His purpose, for His glory. Paul told Timothy in the book of 1 Timothy chapter 2 verse 8 that I desire that in every place, whether you are at home, in church, or in your workplace, men are supposed to pray lifting holy hands. We are supposed to be praying lifting holy hands. Holy hands are those that have not done any evil. Holy hands are the hands that you have dedicated for doing the Lord's work. You lift them up. You give them to God as a living sacrifice. When you lift your hands, you are giving your hands to God so that God counts your prayer, your dedicated prayer, as an incense before Him. As you lift your hands during your evening sacrifice. Psalm 141 verses 1 to 2. Lift your hand. God wants you to stretch your hands. There is a person here in the picture who is folding his hands. Stretching out your hands is associated with healing and surrender. Healing, surrender, and deliverance. So when you stretch out your hands, it is a sign of freedom. You have been set free from oppression, from illness, because you have surrendered yourself to God. Don't fold your hands. Folded hands is a sign of bondage. God told Moses to stretch out your hand over the sea. The sea is your hindrance. What is that hindering you from doing something? That is your sea, your stumbling block, your barrier, your sickness, your disease. God told Moses, stretch out your hand over the sea. And Moses obeyed, and God delivered Israelites out of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. God wants you to put your hands together, even to put them together and clap for Him. Psalm 47 verse 1 says, clap your hands, all you people, with a joyful praise to the Lord, to acknowledge God as the great King over the earth. And God has promised that He shall bless the work of our hands if we shall give Him our hands in obedience. God wants us to be using our hands for Him. We give Him in praise, in worship, in clapping hands, in blessing others, in laying our hands on the sick and the sick get healed. God told Israelites, and He's telling us, if you shall obey the voice of the Lord your God and do all His commandments, which He is commanding you to do this day, Deuteronomy 28 verse 1, then the Lord shall bless all of your hands, all the work of your hands. The Lord shall bless all the work of your hands, all of everything that your hand, that you touch, everything that you lay your hands on. God shall bless all the work of your hands, and you shall lend to many, and you shall not borrow. Deuteronomy 28 verse 12, you shall be set free from debt, because you have obeyed God in offering Him your hands. Then He shall bless the work of your hands. Let us go through the lesson for today. What have we learned from today's lesson? We have learned how to draw a human figure in standing position with hands in different positions. We have also learned that instead of using our hands to do evil or just to please ourselves, God is commanding us to give out our hands to Him, to stretch out our hands to Him, to please Him in prayer, in praise and worship. And God has promised to bless the work of our hands. May God bless you as you meditate on those words, on today's lesson, how to do the human figure and how to offer your hands to God. And God will bless the work of your hands. So that brings us to the end of this lesson. If you have not subscribed, kindly subscribe, and YouTube will be notifying you of our latest videos of this nature. You can also comment, you can also like, and you can also share this video with others. It is for educational purposes, to educate the world how to draw and how to learn what God is teaching us from the pictures we draw. See, God bless you. Let's meet in the next video.